Welcome, Lumineers and fans of the happiest card game on earth. My name's John T. You've just been put in the inkwell along with some more cards from Rise of the Floodborn. First up, this guy dropped just after I uploaded yesterday's video. I mean, like literally 30 seconds after I'd clicked render. So he's starting us off today. A 6-costed inkable 2/6 for 2 lore in Amber. Christopher Robin, Adventurer. He's a Dreamborn hero with the ability will always be together. Whenever you ready this character, if you have 2 or more other characters in play, gain 2 lore. Rare card with art by Eri Welly. And this is just good, I think. It's got the stat line that you want to see in Amber, those big butts that are difficult to deal with. It's wanting to play around with having a couple of characters on the board. Again, much like what a lot of Amber wants to do, such as Carefree Surfer. And it goes into a Ruby Amber build that's already running a lot of the stuff that's going to let him re-ready, such as LeFou or Fan the Flames. You're really going to need the combo pieces to keep getting the ready here for you to see a lot of value out of him, I think, because if you have nothing in your deck that's going to ready them outside of them just readying at the start of your turn, it's actually going to have to survive 2 turns before you see any benefit here, because you're not going to be readying him on the beginning of your turn because he's not going to be exerted, and then you can exert him the second turn he's out and then ready him up. So yeah, he's got to survive a long time, I think, before you really see any value out of him. But if you can get this cooking with things like LeFou and Fan the Flames and other ways to ready characters, this could get really quite a lot of lore, and I think he's a great card that goes really well into the Ruby Amber deck that's wanting to do all of these ready shenanigans. Also, I did say in my last video that Pack Tactics, the card that me and Brandon were allowed to show on This Week in Ink, was the best card that a YouTuber had shown. I don't think it held that title for long because there's a good chance I think this might actually be the best one. This was shared by the Forbidden Mountain, and it's a 3-costed inkable action song in Amber. And it says banish chosen character with 5 strength or more. It's a rare card with art by Julia Reaver. Again, she's crushing the art. This is insane. And this, I think this is really good. A lot of people are saying, oh yeah, it's a little bit, you know. I think this is great. It's basically Dragonfire that can only hit the things you really want to hit with Dragonfire, and it's technically free to cast if you have something out that can sing it. This is going to be crushing Maleficent Monstrous Dragons. It's going to be crushing Brave Little Tailors. It's going to be crushing loads of big strength stuff. And what I think is really lovely about this is that it's in Amber, which is a color that cares a lot about support. Something I think we're going to see more of in Amber as the cards get revealed for set 2, but already we have some strong supporters in Amber. And support doesn't say that you have to grant the strength bonus to one of your own characters. So you can quest with something with support, put their strength onto something on your opponent's board, and then use this to clean it up. I don't know, that feels kind of good. But even without the support play, I do actually just think this will see play as an inkable, singable, targeted removal spell in a color that doesn't really have much of it. Next up, we finally got to see something from The Gamer. They put a heck of a lot of content out leading up to the launch of the game. I really hope this is the start of them ramping up to putting out awesome stuff for set 2 as well. They got to show off a 4-costed uninkable 2/4 for 2 lore in Sapphire, Sisu, Divine Water Dragon, Storyborn hero, deity dragon with the ability I Trust You. Whenever this character quests, look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You may put one of them into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Legendary card here with Grace Tran artwork. This is fantastic. It is draw in a color that desperately needs it, and it's pretty good draw as well. You get to look at the top 2, and you can draw it. You don't even have to. So this is almost develop your brain on a body, but it's not quite develop your brain. It's actually a little bit better, I think, because you don't have to draw the card if you don't want to. You can actually just get rid of both of them to the bottom of your deck if you wish, and that's really quite strong. That filtering and card draw on a body that wants to quest and probably can comfortably quest in the mid game. Yeah, I think this is really good. One interesting thing about this is we already have seen Sisu Divine Water Dragon to some extent. The artwork that's used on the sleeves and the box for set 2, the sleeves and the card box, is Sisu Divine Water Dragon, and it's not this art, which, correct me if I'm wrong, means that art on the sleeves has to be enchanted art, I think, unless there's something else coming that we don't know about yet, just some other form of alt art, or maybe just it was art that they didn't use for this card and they've done another piece instead. I don't know. But to me, that suggests that the art on the card box and the sleeves is an enchanted art. And I guess only time will tell, but I don't know. It's just something I noticed and thought it was worth talking about. Next up, this one was shared on the Lorcana Academy Discord. It's not what I'm familiar with, unfortunately, but I hope they had a blast showing off this card. It is a 2-costed inkable action song in Amethyst, Legend of the Sword in the Stone. Chosen character gains Challenger +3. This turn common with art by Koya J. Pai. Award for longest card name goes to this, I think, and unfortunately I think that's probably the only award it's going to win. I don't think this is a very good card. Challenger 3 obviously could be used to give something a nice buff and have it swing out and get rid of something, but I don't think it's worth the opportunity cost of running this in the deck. A combat trick that might see some limited play, but otherwise not really one to write home about. Great art though. Really love the sword there, all glowy and icy. Next up, shared by Disney Lorcana themselves over on Twitter, a 2-costed inkable 2/2 for 1 lore in Ruby, Queen of Hearts. Impulsive Ruler, a Storyborn villain queen with Rush, common card with art by Valerio Buonfantino. I think this is pretty good, actually. An inkable 2/2 Rusher comes out early, gets rid of Lilos if you haven't managed to find the Simba. Kind of sits in the same kind of slot that Gaston wants to sit in. I feel like Rush might be better than Reckless, but obviously a little later into the game, Queen of Hearts isn't really going to be banishing anything, whereas the Gaston with the 4 strength is really able to trade up a lot better. But I still don't think this is awful. I definitely see limited play, and I do think could probably find a home in a sort of Ruby deck that really wants to control the board using characters. We then got a pile of reveals from French streamer Andre Jus Studio. First of all, we have a 5-costed 5/5 for 2 lore, Verana Fang Chief, Storyborn villain queen, common with art by Mane Kandalian and Luca Pinelli. So I know I've talked a lot in the past on my own videos and commented on other videos and in Discords and stuff about the fact that there isn't power creep happening in set 2 of Lorcana. Technically, this is power creep. This is a 5-costed 5/5 for 2 in Emerald. In set 1, we had a 5-costed 4/5 for 2 in Emerald with Jumba Jakiba. Now, classifications are different. Storyborn Villain Queen here and Dreamborn Alien Inventor on Jumba. So there are some slight differences, but still, I think it's safe to say that this is a common rarity. Jumba is uncommon rarity. This is just a direct upgrade at this point. Other than those classifications being slightly different, this is just a direct upgrade. So, technically, yes, I guess this is a little bit of power creep, but this is, I genuinely think, the first example we've seen of it in the game, and it's basically probably an unplayable card that is slightly better than an even more unplayable card. Jumba Jakiba does not see any play at all, really, and I don't really think this one will either. There is a great video on Power Creep by Extra Credits that I will put down below that you can go and watch. It's obviously talking more about video games, but it all sort of references back to this. And one of the things they do state regarding the definition of Power Creep is that if it is making a unplayable card perhaps playable in some way, that technically doesn't really class as power creep because it's not making anything more powerful, it's just bringing something else up to the level, up to the standard of where the game really should be. They give some great examples of that, and this is what this is doing, and I think that's fine, although it is kind of weird if these cards are developed in a set together. You know, chances are set 1, 2, 3, 4 would probably all sort of develop together. It is kind of weird to see such a similar vanilla card to Jumba Jakiba come out just one set later. So so interesting for that reason. As far as this card goes, it's, you know, it's a 5/5/5 for 2. Maybe isn't terrible. I don't think is very good though. Sorry, that one was actually shared by Wargamer originally. These ones are the ones from the French streamer Andre Jus Studio. Sorry about that. This is a 2-costed inkable 3/2 for 1 lore in Emerald. A Cheshire Cat. Always Smiling. He's a Storyborn uncommon with art by Alex Accorsi. This is a flipped around Genie the Ever Impressive. Not really much to say here, to be honest with you. Would love to see a Floodborn Cheshire Cat in Emerald that now has 2 targets for it, but otherwise at the moment, this isn't really anything to write home about. Also a 3-costed inkable 3/4 for 1 lore in Amethyst, Yzma, Insomniac, Storyborn, Villain, Sorcerer. Uncommon with art by Pablo Hidalgo. Really great art on this, kind of crazy art on this one actually. Functional Wardrobe, this one, again, it's a vanilla. We don't really need to spend too much time on these. Always worth keeping them in the back of your mind if we ever do get Floodborns of these characters. But as it stands in the sort of bubble of evaluating cards before the release, there isn't really that much to say about these. Until we start seeing some more classification matters stuff, it's worth bearing in mind that there is an Amethyst Amber deck that cares about villains because of Hades that this could go into, but still. As far as it goes as a singular card, it is what it is. Treasury Studio did get to reveal a couple of interesting cards though. A 3-costed inkable 3/2 for 1 lore in Ruby, Fidget. Is a Dreamborn ally with Evasive. Common card with art by Julia Reaver. Again, she's knocking it out of the park. He looks awesome, and this isn't a terrible body, to be honest with you. It's kind of similar to the Minnie Mouse that we got the other day, the Surfer Mini. She's a 1/3 in the same slot. But honestly, I could see running both of these in a heavy Evasive deck. I almost think we're at a mono Ruby Evasive deck point here. Definitely will be interested to see if that's got any legs. Would be quite a cheap deck to put together. And a 4-costed inkable 1/6 for 1 lore in Sapphire. This is Hiram Flaversham. It just says Flaversham here in the French version. Toy Maker. He's a Storyborn inventor with the ability Master Artisan. When you play this character, and whenever he quests, you may banish chosen item of yours to draw 2 cards. I think that's what it says. And this is a rare card with art by Leonardo Gianmichele. This is really interesting. There is a single deck, as far as I can tell, that this goes into, and that's the Tamatoa items deck. Tamatoa obviously being able to bring the items that this guy banishes back, and you'll get a bit of a sort of loop there, a little engine loop, which is nice. I don't really think this sees playing anything else, because anything else, to be honest with you, if you're running an item, it's got to be because it's good. With Tamatoa or Maurice builds, you're running items because that's what they care about. But I'd be very surprised if there's an item that you're going to slot into your deck that is okay, but you're happy to banish it. I can't really think of anything that fits that slot, although, 2-card draw is pretty good. Yeah, I think this goes into the Tamatoa deck, makes that a little better, nice engine for it, really good stuff. But at the moment, at least, that's the only real place I can see it fit. And there we go, nice selection today, bit of this, bit of that, a little bit of everything. I think Sisu is probably the winner of the day, although that Christopher Robin is pretty nice as well. I know for a fact that the Citizens of Lorcana have got a reveal, but they're not showing it until quite late my time. So unfortunately, that one hasn't made the cut for this video today, so we'll start off the next roundup with that. I'm very excited to see what it is, and I'm very glad they got a reveal because they do a lot of really awesome stuff over there, and it's great to see them get a bit of recognition. But until the next one, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of these. If you're a regular here, you know what to do. Click like and all that YouTube goodness. I love you all to bits. I'll see you in the next one. Be good.